Good morning, everybody. Hi, good morning. Can see everyone's. I love seeing your faces this morning. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited. So I've got everybody muted for now, but this is an interactive workshop. So we're going to be working in small groups today too. But just for now, while we have a bunch of people coming in. I keep getting the dings as people join. All right, so I'm going to start it. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to have you all here with me for 2 days for New Year, new brand. Perfect time to get ready for a brand new brand. I just want to walk us through before we get started. So we've got a lot to cover over 2 days. And I'm going to try to be a stickler for the timing, which I'm usually not. So I'm going to try to keep us on time for our workshops. Just so we have a little bit of break in between if you have to get a cup of tea, go to the bathroom before we get started again. This is an interactive 2 days, and we're going to be working off of a workbook. So I sent out a couple emails, but just in case you didn't get it, I'm going to put it into the chat. Okay. So the Canva link is in the chat. I'm going to share my screen just in case anybody is like brand new to Canva and never used this before, just to show you how to customize this. Let's see. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Just thumbs up if you can see it. Awesome. Sweet. So if you click on that link, that's actually going to take you to, let me get my chat back up again. This is for the Canva newbies. Most people are Canva aficionados at this point, but click on that link. It's going to say use template, and I'm already signed in. So if you're not signed in, when you click on that, it's going to ask you to sign up for an account or sign up with Facebook. Do that. It'll open up the workbook. I like to click this part out just so it gives you a little bit more room. And over here, if you want to make it a little bit bigger, you can do, let me move this to the side. If you want to fit it or fill the screen so you have a little bit more space to work with. The way that it's organized is through sessions. We've got 8 sessions over the next 2 days. And we've locked all of these elements, so you don't have to worry about messing up the design. This is completely yours, so don't worry about moving things around. If you want to, you can change the name of it up here. And then let me minimize that. And then we've just left this blank, like where you can fill in the text. So you can really just type right in here. Some people are going to want to print it out, and that's totally fine. I wanted it to be kind of interactive so we can, have it. And afterwards, if you're ready, you can download that. And I suggest to download it as a PDF. And they can download it right to your computer. Any questions, just put them in the chat. So the way that I'm going to schedule all of the workshops is we'll do about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of some teaching, going through some of the branding basics. And then for the rest of the times, we have 45-minute sessions. We'll have about 10 minutes to work through the exercises. And then we're going to work together in small groups too. So Zoom has a way of doing breakout rooms. So we're going to do small breakout rooms. We have about 20, 25 people on right now. So we'll see how big the groups are once we get to the interactive part. So that's kind of it for my admin stuff. We've got 4 workshops today. We're going to start off with branding basics. Really excited to get started. And what I tried to do is make sure that every session is really just like the meat and potatoes of what I think that you need to learn about branding. So not a lot of people, maybe there's one here and there in the group, but I don't think a lot of people in the group are making a career out of branding. So rather than go super duper duper deep into all of the topics, I wanted to just be like a really good overview for you guys and a great place to start off the new year. I think the last thing that I'd say is while I'm teaching, I'm going to be sharing my screen. I have some slides. And if you guys are around and you're seeing some questions in the chat, I won't be able to see those while I'm teaching. So if you can help each other out, if somebody comes on a little bit later and they're asking about the workbook, somebody can just go in and point out the link is up there. One last question from Pamela. Will the workshops be recorded and shared? Yes, I'm recording this right now. So I have everything set up to automatically record, and may take like a day or two to get all these uploaded, but we'll send out like a Google Drive folder or something afterwards so you can access this. Plus I'll add the slides to it too. Yeah, the same question. Cool. So yeah, you don't have to join everything. I mean, I recommend trying to come to as many workshops as you can, just so you can interact with other people. And sometimes it's nice to just have that time so you know you're going to go through the workbook, because there's a lot of really cool exercises. I tried to put exercises in the workbook that you wouldn't typically see. So we're going to do some really cool things over the next 2 days. I am going to jump right into my slides, and off and away we go. Oops, it's not the right one. This is what we want, session 1. I love that Canva has a presentation feature too. I'm a Canva lover. Okay, so let me just have my phone out so I can make sure that I'm staying on time. Session number 1, all about branding. Now, a lot of times people go in and they'll talk for 20 minutes all about their story here, and we have to cover a lot over the next 2 days. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that, other than just to introduce myself and say, hi, I think a lot of you already know me. Most of the promotion that we did for getting people to this workshop is all through the mailing list. And so I assume that unless you've come from one of our affiliates, you probably met me at Amber's Planathon, I would say. Maybe you came to my summit in the summer for Profitable Virtual Wellness Business. And maybe you've just been on the mailing list for a couple years. If not, if so, thanks for joining me. So I think a lot of people probably know at least a little bit about me, but for anybody who's on here who's brand new, my name is Nicole Harlow, and I run a business called Brand Better. But I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, which is something that you hear bandied around a lot in the entrepreneurial world. So my history of the last over 10 years of entrepreneurship, I've run a lot of different businesses, from yoga to meditation and dance. My very first business was burlesque for bachelorette parties. So that was kind of a funny way to get started. And through many twists and turns and women's health and master's degrees and lots of curiosity about lots of different topics, I realized that my core strength was really in ideas and having lots of curiosity for lots of different subjects. But that's hard to make a business out of. At least I thought it was. Was starting so many different businesses and not really having a lot of focus on any of them. And through the twists and turns, that kind of led me to branding. And I realized that branding was the opportunity for me to get to work with a lot of different industries, work with in my strength of curiosity and ideas, to generate lots of ideas and actually get paid for it at the same time was pretty cool. Like I didn't realize that was something that I could do. I'm not formally trained in graphic design. I'm self-taught with everything. Used a lot of elbow grease and muscle throughout the years to learn how to do everything that I do. So I bootstrapped all of my business, but now got to a place where we have a team of graphic designers, a project manager, and we get to work with the most amazing clients. And I still feel humbled that my job is to do things like this, like teach and talk to you guys over the next couple of days, but also that I get paid to have ideas and to bring those ideas to life. So I like to think that the background of everything that I've done up until this point really helps to it really helps me to understand the clients that we have. We have a lot of clients that come from the health and wellness world, and it's nice to be able to share with them, like, I started a health and wellness business coaching women about their menstrual cycle issues and hormones. I was a yoga teacher. I get it. I was a digital entrepreneur creating online courses and working as a transformational coach. And so a lot of our ideal clients that we work with, I have a background in their industry. So it's kind of cool to be able to interface on that level. So that's a little bit about me. And I'll make sure that over the next couple of days, if you're curious about learning more about Brand Better, that you have all the resources that you need. But for now, we really need to talk about branding. And I like to start with this definition of branding, and it's super simple. People think that this is where I always like to start off with. Like, people think that branding is the visual and the logo. And that's true. That's part of it. We're going to spend pretty much all day tomorrow talking about the visual side of things, but we'll spend a whole day today not really talking about the visual side of branding at all. Today, we're going to be focusing on the more intangible sides of branding, which is perception. Branding is all about perception. Branding is a desired perception on your part. You have a desire for how your customers and your clients see you, how you'd like them to see you. But it's also the perception of how your clients see you. So what's funny about that is we can do a lot of different exercises and we can put a lot of work into creating a brand, but it also really comes down to how the clients and the customers see you, because they'll have their own perception of you. And so you can, all the way from the smallest solopreneur brand up into some of the biggest corporations that have big budgets and they have marketing teams. We can't always control what the perception is, but I think over our work together in the next couple of days for branding, we can really work towards at least controlling some of the message and some of the visual and some of the personality of our brand so that we can up level the perception. And so I like this word, it really makes me think about, like, what can we do to make sure that our brands, our businesses are perceived in the best light, are perceived as something that's worth investing in, are perceived as something that's doing good in the world, are perceived as a brand that has heart and soul. I think everyone listening can resonate with those messages. I think. And if you don't, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't want to, like, have a brand that has, like, heart and help. That's why we're here. We're here to make money too. And part of branding is about up leveling your pricing structure of a charging more. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. I think this afternoon we have a workshop about pricing and packaging and positioning. 4 Ps, profit was the other one. So getting through the 4 Ps. But just here, starting at a ground level, if we have an idea of branding as perception, that's a great place to start. And branding encompasses so much more, again, than just the logo and just the visual. And this right here, this branding wheel, this isn't even all inclusive. There's a lot more here that goes into branding, but we have visual as one of the kind of first, like, pieces of this wheel. So that encompasses logo, font, colors. Like I said, we'll talk about that a lot more tomorrow. I'm going to go into the visual side of things. So this side of the wheel, the darker colors, are kind of more the things that you see, the tangible parts of the brand. And that's day 2. So even this website and digital platforms. We're going to go into that tomorrow, a little bit into like mistakes that you may be making on your website, doing a website audit, seeing what you need from that side of things. And then also, this is another thing we'll do tomorrow. So, this is part of the wheel, social media and content. I think that's our last workshop that we have tomorrow. We're going to go through some social media ideas and how to source ideas for social media, and also how to find a purpose with all of the platforms that you use, because it can be really difficult to choose where to be and what to do and what to say. So I'm going to try to help you out a bit with that. But on this side, and this is kind of like what we're focusing on today, this lighter side, these are like the deeper, more intangible, harder to kind of pinpoint, but very, very worth doing the work to understand. The first one is your brand story, your mission, and your values. The second one is the brand voice and tone. And the last one is brand positioning and personality. And today we're going to be going through all of those. So we've got a workshop for everything: brand voice and tone, brand positioning and personality, brand story, and values. We want to dispel some myths as we're getting started together. And one that I haven't added here, and it's not a myth, it's really just an agreement that we make for the next 2 days, that none of this is about being perfect. This is all just about making progress together. My expectation is not that you get to the end of 2 days and know exactly every little detail about your brand and every little detail about the visual. That's not my expectation at all. My expectation is that we feel like we do 2 days of good work together, that we start to draw some conclusions, maybe have 1 or 2 lucky light bulbs going off, thinking of a way of kind of cross pollinating your business with ideas, like this is a true mastermind for 2 days. It's when the group thought becomes more than just you yourself. And I think that there's a real beauty, energy, synergy, whatever you like to call it, when we actually open up a container and we create an intention to sit down together. Even if you can't make all 8 of the workshops, that we make an intention to sit down and do the work together, and then we share it. And that's the reason why I wanted this to be interactive. I don't want you to sit for 2 days just listening to me talk. And I don't want to talk for 2 days. I'm an introvert. I want to give you bits of information, enough to just kind of like spark some ideas. Sit down, let's do the work together. I'm going to be doing the work myself too. So I'm going to do some of this work too, because it's always good. It's one of the things I would set as a foundation for us working together too, is this idea that branding is done. Like that you do branding or you pay for branding, like, oh, you hire brand better, you pay for a logo and the branding's done. Not true. Even the best companies are constantly going through and refining and asking questions about branding. So branding is a living, breathing process. It's the thing that you will regularly be doing in your business, to ask questions around how your customers are perceiving you. How are you positioned in the marketplace? Are you the highest end? Are you middle? Are you the bottom of the barrel? How is your brand voice and tone matching a new client avatar, right? And these are a lot of terms that I'm throwing out that are going to become a lot more clear as we work together. I want to set that foundation for our intention of working together. But let's go through a couple myths and just bust them right now. One is that branding is only for a logo. We covered this a little bit a couple of minutes ago. Branding is so much more than that. Number 2 is that branding is only for big brands. Even if you are just getting started, solopreneur, DIY, bootstrapping, doing it all yourself, you are still a brand. And I think that there's a real power in seeing yourself as that, and I think it also, one thing that I love about branding is I think when you have a clear sense of your brand, and this year as a team, we've also found this really true for our business, that the clearer that we got in our brand, the easier it is to make decisions. And I know that for a lot of business owners out there, myself included, decision making fatigue is a real thing. You know, when you're just like, even with social media, oh, there's so many platforms. What platform should I be on? I don't know. What do I do? Where do I start? Where do I go next? You know, this is a lot of, I do a lot of brand audits, like 90-minute one-to-one sessions with clients. And that's like the biggest question is like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know where to go. I have lots of ideas. And so when you have a clear brand, it's easier. It's still, you still to make a decision, and that's always hard, but it's easier to look down and say, okay, these are our North Star words, you know, or this is our focus for the year. And so it's easy to then start making decisions around marketing. It's easy to start saying no to things like, that's not an ideal client for us, that's not an align. Just because everybody else is starting a podcast, how does that work for our clients? So I love, it's not just for big brands, it's for little people too. And I love, if you think about yourself as a brand, it gives you a good opportunity to just, in a way, take your business more seriously. And then the last one is that it's too expensive. There's a quote that I usually, when I do one of these workshops, that I love. It's from Steve Forbes, the creator of Forbes magazine. And he says something along the lines of like, branding is the best investment that you'll ever make in your business. And I really believe that that's true too. So want to dispel that myth. And really quickly, yeah, perfect. Let's see. Okay. So, last thing I want to say before we get into the fun stuff is why branding is important. Number one, it sets you apart from your competition. I like building brands. I like thinking about branding where there's a book, it's Marty Neumeier, I think his name is. It's either Zig or it's Zag. I think it's Zag. But the premise is where everybody else is zigging, you want to zag. And with branding, you can really set yourself apart from your competition in the market. I like to say peers. Competition always feels a little bit like red ocean marketing. I like blue ocean marketing. I like feeling that there's no there's like enough for everybody, right? There's enough clients, there's enough abundance, there's enough money. There's enough people in the world that want to work specifically with you, with your brand, with your messaging. There are so many, many branding agencies there are in the world, and many like $99 designers there are out there, even more than branding agencies. So what makes people want to work with us? What makes somebody want to come to your functional medicine clinic or hire you as a coach? It really comes down to personality and brand differentiation. So how do you be you? How do you be more you? So it can set you apart from the competition. It helps you to command higher prices. We went through a rebrand this year as a company. We immediately doubled our prices after the rebrand because the rebrand gave myself as the business owner a lot more confidence to step into the next pricing tier. We were kind of hanging out at a not so good pricing tier for us, and the clients were not really ideal clients for us anymore. And so the rebrand gave us confidence to double our prices, and then doubling our prices gave us our best 6 weeks that we had ever had in business, to the tune of like $55,000 in a very short period. So rebranding works. It allows you to command higher prices. It allows you to feel confidence in your offerings, and confidence, especially when you brand visually in a way where everything's matching and feels very up leveled. You can do some really wonderful things with that energy. And there's something that comes from investing in yourself as well. And that's, you know, we've done that a lot this year and found the return on investment to be very high, And so I like to try in these workshops to always be like as open as possible. I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to how I built my business and how it works behind the scenes. So I'm happy to share any of that stuff. Number 3 is it builds loyalty and trust. Um, People, are you a Starbucks person? Are you a Target versus Walmart person? I mean, most people have a real affinity to one or the other. And why that is all comes down to branding. The price is not that much different. It's the experience, the brand experience that is different. And it promotes growth through brand extensions. And that's just a little bit of a sophisticated way of just saying that when you have branding, it's easy to make choices that align with your brand visually. And if you're going to offer, like if you want to offer more online courses, programs, write a book, if you have a clear brand, it makes it easier to say, okay, I know what kind of program I want to do. I know how I want it to fit into the bigger, the grand scheme. So that is a little cool. All right, I went a couple minutes over, but that was good because we did some housekeeping in the beginning. I'm gonna come back here, stop sharing so I can just get into the chat a little bit. Hey, everybody. Got some new people who came on. Oh, sweet. I'm just looking to see where people came about. Amber's Planathon, Sachin Patel. Yeah, we got some Sachin Patel people in here, Freelance to Freedom. Cool. So we are going to start the interactive portion. Everybody has their workbook. Let me share my screen again because I want actually, yeah, I'm going to share my screen. So for session number 1, what we're going to work through is this thing called brand attributes. And this is really helping to, like it says here, define the essence of your brand. We're going to take, let's see. Yeah, we're going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to time us. I'm going to take 10 minutes to go through, and no pressure. Like, you can always come back to these things too. So what we want right now for these workshops is to just get some headway into these exercises. Just start getting the creative juices flowing, start thinking about your brand in a different way. So if you want to come back to this at some point, if you're like, I'm not gonna be able to finish in 10 minutes, that is no big deal. I'm gonna give us 10 minutes for this just because this is like a chunky exercise. So on the worksheet, you want to go through each one. We've got culture, customers, voice, feeling, impact, and X factor. Each one has a question underneath of it, like culture. How would your community describe you? And what we want to do is just brainstorm. It doesn't have to be perfect, no perfection here. We're just, and no wrong answers. We are just brainstorming a bunch of words under here. So, how would your community describe you? I'm going to say, I'll just do this for myself: friendly, warm, enthusiastic. I'd hope to be seen as knowledgeable and, I don't know, efficient. Like, we can get the work done. How would your community describe you? So this is what we want to start doing. Just go down each list, just start brainstorming. How many, I don't know, 5, 7, 8, 10, whatever. Some people are going to have, some people are more verbal and the words will come very easily. Other people might take a little bit of time to get into these, so I want you to have at least, I'd say at least 3 for each one. So let's put 10 minutes on the clock. I'm going to mute myself and you can watch me as I actually go through this part myself too. Okay, we have about 2 minutes left. Let's see. Make the slide bigger. Yeah, it's pretty tiny, isn't it? You can always, there we go. That's probably a lot better. Um, when you're doing the own workshop, if you click on that, you can always go and change the font size too. We have it set at 12, which is pretty small, but do that. See, friendly shows up on mine a lot. Like, trying to think of some new words, but what can I say? It's our North Star of brand better. It's warm, friendly, warm, friendly, warm, friendly, enthusiastic, optimistic. Okay. So we're just about ready to stop. We have like a minute left. So just kind of wind down what you're doing right now. And what we're going to do is, let's see how many people we've got 25. So we're going to do, um, let's do 5 groups here. Yeah, we'll do 5 groups. So we're going to do some breakout groups. What would I like you to do on the breakout group? Okay, so we have these brand attributes. Where am I at here? So I want you to, in the group, just go one by one and just pick out one of these sections and just read out what your words were. And say, I don't know, if you want to just pick one randomly, so you could go feeling. And how do others feel after interacting with me? They feel, or at least I want them to feel. So this can be, I should have said this before we started the exercises, that these can be ideals too. So if you're just getting started, or if you're obviously looking to build a new brand, get a better brand, you can do these aspirationally too. So I want others to feel happy, optimistic, enthusiastic, energized, understood, and like we're friends. So I just want you to read out one of your sections and then just let the group know if there was one word that you felt like, or 1 or 2 words that came up a lot that you wanted to write in every section or multiple sections. For me, that was friendly and warm. That kept coming up. So if you found a connection between a word or two, I want you to share that with the group too. We'll be, we're at 10:40, so we'll be about 5 minutes in our group. Then I'll bring us back here and then we'll break for a little bit before our second session. So what's nice is it'll just be maybe like a minute per person. If you haven't done Zoom breakout rooms, I'm going to automatically assign you. You'll see a pop-up come up on your screen to join your group. Just click on that and then it'll take you into your breakout room. Everyone's muted, so you have to unmute yourself once you get into the group too. Okay, bye everybody. See you back in like 5 minutes. So we're just waiting about 30 seconds. Everybody's going to make their way back to the main room. I like it gives me a countdown, 20 seconds until everybody comes back again. 10 seconds. Okay, looks like everybody is back. Great. I'm almost only 2 minutes off schedule right now, and that is amazing for me. It's probably never happened in the history of doing any kind of workshop. So we are going to take about like a 13-minute break. I'm on East Coast time, so 11 a.m. We'll be back here again. You've got a different link, so I'm going to close out this one so I can get the recording and start uploading that. Go back to your email. Number 2, we are talking about ideal client avatar. So some cool, powerful stuff there and some really good exercises that we're going to do for that too. So I'll see you guys back in a couple minutes. Have a little pee break, get some tea, get some water. Hope you guys liked working in the breakout groups. And I'll see you back in a little bit. Bye.